Welcome to part 5 of the MongoDB tutorial series. In this video, we'll be going over document relationships. We'll be discussing why relationships are important to consider, and we'll be talking about the 3 different kinds of relationships: one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. You need to worry about the way that your documents are related and the way that you define those relationships, because if they're defined poorly, then that has a direct impact on the performance of your database. And no one is going to want to use your website, for example, if the data loads slowly. So in order to optimize performance, you need to intelligently plan how you design your database architecture. For example, if you have a website like Amazon.com, there is an optimal way of associating all your products and all your manufacturers so that everything loads quickly. The first kind of relationship to consider is a one-to-one relationship. You don't need to overthink this. It's pretty simple. You just need to have, so for example, if we have a database that has users and home addresses, and each user has one address and each address has just one user, then we can simply define the user object and define the home address object, and in either one of them contain a reference ID to the other. So here in the address, I've defined user ID is Homer, and that links this address to this user. So if I, for example, was looking at this user and I want to find his address, I would do db.addresses.find, where user ID is equal to Homer. So that's pretty straightforward, and you don't need to overthink one-to-one relationships. One-to-many relationships become a little more complicated. Say you have a newspaper website where you have articles and comments. Here's an example of a poorly defined relationship between articles and comments. Here's a whole article object, and it has a comments array. So all the comments on the article are nested inside of the object. So this is fine if you want to load all the comments for an article while you're loading the article. But say you want to upvote any one of these comments. You would have to go through the entire comments array until you find the comment that you want to modify, and then only then could you change this upvotes counter on any one of these nested comment objects. When there's 2 comments, like in this example, it'll work just as fast, but you need to consider scalability. When there's 1,000 comments in this array, it's gonna be a clear bottleneck on your performance. And every single time that a user wants to upvote a comment, you would have to go through this entire array and find the appropriate comment. So this is a bad way of structuring article and comment relationships, or one-to-many relationships. A better way is to do something like this. Define an articles collection and a comments collection. So here's the article on the left. There's no longer a nested comments array, and instead we define the comments as individual documents in the comments collection, and each comment has a reference to the article. So each comment has an article ID reference that links to the ID of this article. So therefore, if you want to find all the comments, if you're loading this article on a web page and you want to find all the comments along with it, you just need to run a command like db.comments.find, where article ID is equal to article 1. And that'll happen at the same speed as loading this. But say that the reason why this is better is because if you want to upvote any particular comment, you no longer have to traverse through this comments array. You can just specifically refer to any one of these comments and change the upvotes counter. And then there are many-to-many relationships. An example would be comments and tags. You can have a single comment can have many tags, and a single tag can have many comments. So here on the left, we have comments with tag arrays, and these tag arrays contain IDs of the tags that are associated with each comment. And then on the right, we have all these different tags. And so if we want to find all the comments that contain a particular tag, we do something like db.comments.find, where tags contains tag 1. And that would get us what we want. So that's an optimal way of structuring many-to-many relationships in MongoDB. So that's all for relationships in MongoDB. Next up, we'll be talking about indexes.